haunting of Route 66. Once upon a chilling night, in the heartland of America, where the vast expanse of the Midwest stretched out in all directions, there existed a road that both beckoned and terrified those who dared to travel its desolate path, Route 66. On one fateful summer morning, the wheels of an old, rusted van began to roll, setting in motion a series of events that would forever haunt the minds of Mike, Sarah, and David. As the van rumbled away from the familiar streets of Chicago, the trio's excitement was palpable. Their journey promised adventure, laughter, and unforgettable memories. Little did they know that it would also bring them face to face with the unknown. Mike, with his hands firmly on the steering wheel, tried to shake off the uneasy feeling that had settled in the pit of his stomach. Sarah, riding a shotgun, couldn't help but glance repeatedly into the rearview mirror, catching glimpses of fleeting shadows that seemed to dance in the corners of her vision. David, sitting in the back, felt an inexplicable coldness that no amount of summer heat could dispel. Their first stop on this spine-tingling road trip was a seemingly abandoned motel, a relic of a bygone era. Its flickering neon lights cast eerie, ever-shifting shadows on the cracked pavement below. Walter, the elderly motel owner, greeted them with a grin that sent shivers down their spines. His stories of strange happenings within the motel walls, unexplained noises, and guests who had mysteriously vanished were enough to make anyone's hair stand on end. The trio chuckled nervously, attributing his tales to an overactive imagination, and paid for their rooms. As night descended upon the desolate motel, strange and terrifying occurrences unfolded. Footsteps echoed down the dimly lit hallways, whispers seeped through the walls, and doors creaked open and shut of their own accord. In the confines of their room, the walls seemed to close in and the air turned icy, their breath visible in the chilling temperature. David's startled gaze fixed on a shadowy figure that stood at the foot of his bed, its features obscured by darkness. The trio fled the motel in the dead of night, never to return. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. Undeterred by their harrowing experience at the motel, Mike, Sarah, and David continued their journey into the unknown. Their next destination lay on a remote stretch of road, rumored to be haunted by the spirit of a vanishing hitchhiker. As they ventured further into the heart of the Midwest, the landscape transformed from endless highways to barren, windswept plains. Suddenly, a torrential storm engulfed them, rain pouring down in blinding sheets and visibility reduced to mere feet. It was then that they spotted her, a drenched young woman, her thumb outstretched by the side of the road. Unable to leave her stranded in such a deluge, they pulled over to offer her a ride. The woman, shivering and soaked to the bone, climbed into the back seat of the van. Her face was hidden beneath a hood, and she muttered barely audible words, sending shivers down their spines. As the van pressed on through the storm, the woman's presence grew increasingly unsettling. She seemed to vanish and reappear in the rearview mirror, her reflection distorted and ghostly. Sarah, unable to contain her curiosity any longer, turned to ask the woman's name. With a slow, deliberate movement, the woman pulled back her hood, revealing a face that would haunt their nightmares for years to come, a rotting skeletal visage with hollow eyes that stared into their souls. Terror gripped the trio as Mike slammed on the brakes, the van skidding to a halt. They watched in disbelief as the horrifying apparition before them simply evaporated, leaving only wet footprints on the van's upholstery. Their hearts pounding and breaths ragged, they sped away from the scene, the memory of the vanishing hitchhiker forever etched in their minds. The abandoned amusement park. Their final destination was an abandoned amusement park, hidden deep within the dense woods of Oklahoma. Local legends whispered that the park was cursed, its rides haunted by the tormented spirits of those who had met untimely ends within its rusted gates. As they entered the decaying park, an overwhelming sense of foreboding washed over them. Broken and rusted rides stood like skeletal remains, their gears and chains eerily silent. Unsettling laughter echoed through the empty corridors, and Sarah swore she felt the presence of unseen eyes watching their every move. Determined to unravel the mysteries of the park, they ventured into the dilapidated funhouse. The air grew thick with anticipation as they navigated its maze of mirrors, each reflection more distorted and unsettling than the last. Sinister laughter echoed through the hall, seemingly growing louder with every step. In the heart of the funhouse, a small, dimly lit room awaited them. It was there that David disappeared from their sight, swallowed by the very mirrors that surrounded him. Panic set in as they searched, their heartbeats drowning out the haunting laughter that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Finally, they found David, standing in a trance before a cracked mirror. His reflection was a nightmarish version of himself, grinning malevolently, eyes gleaming with madness. When he finally spoke, his words were a jumble of riddles and cryptic messages. He claimed to have glimpsed the other side, and the experience had forever altered him. Terrified and shaken to their core, they left the abandoned amusement park, leaving behind the sinister laughter that seemed to follow them even as they sped away. Epilogue: The Legends of Route 66. Their road trip had taken a toll on their sanity, leaving them with a newfound respect for the eerie stories that had haunted Route 66. Mike, Sarah, and David's harrowing encounters would forever remain etched in their memories as inexplicable and chilling, yet undeniably real-based. As they settled back into their normal lives, they couldn't help but wonder what other horrifying stories lay hidden in the heartland of America, waiting for the next group of adventurers to stumble upon them. The legends of Route 66 continued to grow, whispered among thrill-seekers and those brave enough to venture into the unknown, their tales echoing through the vast, mysterious expanse of the American Midwest. And so, the trio's unforgettable journey came to an end, but the stories they carried with them would live on, forever intertwined with the eerie mysteries of Route 66. As you immerse yourself in these bone-chilling tales, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that you never miss out on the spine-tingling stories that await you on the road less traveled. Who knows what horrors lurk just around the bend?